Heidi-ho, Arkansas Pilgrim here again. Today, well, more like tonight actually, I'm going to show you some tips on how to build handy things around the homestead using pallets. And here we have a few pallets that I've collected. First step in building stuff with pallets is to find a source of pallets. Okay? Once you get some, you want to take the pallets and you want to cut them into pieces that are appropriate for the size of the thing you're going to make. And once you have done that, assemble them into what it is you're trying to make. Hope that was helpful. God bless y'all. See you next time. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Actually, for those of you who've been around a while, that's a lot like E-How used to be. I remember seeing something similar to how to rebuild a transmission. Remove transmission from automobile, disassemble and replace broken or worn parts, reassemble and reinstall in the vehicle. There was literally something like that. So, and others of you might also compare that to a Monty Python sketch. And a cookie for you in the comments if you identify what that sketch is. One of the tricks with pallets is to not have, minimize how much you mess around with them. Here, this spot happens to get muddy, and I got a rather heavy pallet, and it's lasted several years, and I use it as a step. Didn't have to do anything to it except throw it on the ground. Many of you have probably seen the fence I put together out of pallets, and that was, I just, tied them together with wire into a big long line and just set them up. You have to set them up into a curve or a zigzag so they won't fall over, or put some props on there like that. Using them as is can be pretty handy. Back to these ones I was showing you first. I'm going to take these and, well, one more point I guess. Some of them, if you try to disassemble them, they and have like big, the whole big long piece. Some may disassemble easy, some may not. A lot of times they use these nails that are either ring nails or twisty, and depending on the wood, they can be held in there really tight, and you may actually destroy it by trying to take it apart. Give it a shot and see, but many times what you want to do is end up just taking it and maybe just cutting off a piece that you're going to use. Well, that's what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be making a oh, geez, I've got it covered up here to keep it out of the sun tomorrow. I'm going to make a little place just to put my hose to help keep it out of the sun, because it's black and it makes the water hot, and it might, sunlight damages lots of rubber and plastic things. So I'm just going to make myself a little square I'm going to call it a holder. It's more like a square corral to just put the hose down in and cover it up. Okay, I'm actually going to try and make this out of this one pallet. You can see the hose isn't very tall, so I'm going to just make it this box 2 things tall, so I can cut that off. And I can use one piece for each side, and I guess I could show you some action shots of me cutting, but I'm kind of in a hurry to do it. But I wanted to put it on a video, so I'm not going to take the time to set all that up. But I am going to use a handsaw, and I'm outside rather than in the shop, because one thing, the light's better than another. It's also cooler out here because we got some air movement. It's a good thing I didn't film that, because it wasn't all that pretty. Using a handsaw and you cutting these things off, the pieces are in there and they still kind of get in the way of the saw and stuff, and it's kind of a mess. And I did try to take some pieces off, and like I mentioned to you, sometimes, I was being careful too. I'm still going to be able to use this for what I'm using it for, because it's not that, it's not structurally important. And I may even put the piece back and nail them together. But you've got a lot of leverage on here. Be able to, pry that up, if you put, one hand over on the other side. But the thing is, this wood is lightweight, not real strong, and has a tendency to break. If you want to pry it off, you can use something like this. You can lift this up and pry it up a little bit and create some space here. and then use this to carefully pry, but you got to get under the nails. You got to pry where the nails are. If you pry on the wood at all, it'll snap. So that's what happened to that piece there. So in this one, I mean, it actually looks like I can take it apart, but you just got to be really careful. In some, the nails do not move at all, and in some like this, the nails might pull through, which is actually fine, and then you can pull them out. But also on some you'll get like this, might not be able to get that nail out. I had some oak pallets were like that. I just had to cut the nails off, and then either be careful later on. I marked where all the nails were so I wouldn't run it through a saw. Anyway, that's a bit about trying to take these apart. Okay, I might as well show you how to try and remove these, because I forgot I have an extra piece. I don't want to that's going to be in the way. Having a bar like this, one of these things, this is called a Wonder Bar, which I don't know if it was named by a German, but the Wonder Bar I think was the original name. It's a pry bar, what do you call it? This shape. You can take it, get it close to where the nails are, and then you can pound her in, and then do a little prying, and then you can take it, you got space, get it down to that nail, and then try prying. You can hear the wood starting to creak. Okay, get a little, now sometimes you can do this, there we go, and the nail popped up. And you can either use your hammer, whoop, see that bending? That's going to snap. You're going to have to do it this way. There you go. And actually, yeah, if you can see, I'm looking over the top of me. Yeah, if you can see if it's actually focused on there, that nail's got a twist in it. And this one, let's go ahead and try to do it this way. There. Pop a little chip out, but now we got that there. Or you can use this also. It's a great nail puller. There we go. Let's do that on both sides. In this case, didn't do much damage to that wood. And one of those, since to show this, it's the same thing. Here, now I'm going to go ahead and assemble it. Said I'm just making a square basically, and I've got a bunch of old crummy drywall screws, so this doesn't really need that much any kind of strength. And I'm going to go ahead and use the holes mostly anyway, if to redo it, because even if you drill these through, they may make the wood split. So I'm going to use this hole right here. This hole right here, the nail pulled through, so the screw may not hold there. But I'm going to get at least one screw in, and I can go back and add a second screw just to make it, a little stiffer. There we go, there. And let's see. This is just eyeballing for square because, well, it doesn't matter in this. I don't think there's much square about this whole thing anyway, but it's going to end up being fairly flexible anyway. It's basically to stick on the ground and put the hose in. It's not for carrying around and doing anything with. So, actually, I'm going to go ahead and got a little shorter screw. Way over here, it shouldn't cause any splitting. Shouldn't. Well, do it over here where you can see. Way over here, it shouldn't cause any splitting. I don't even know if that. Yeah. here. And I'll flip it over and we'll actually do that 3 more times. Well, there we have, finished. Looks pretty good from this angle, but I'm going to show you what I messed up on. Which came because I got in too much of a hurry, which is probably a recurring theme you have probably heard before and you will hear again on my videos. But this is the side I did first. But these were the 2 pieces I took off of the back. They were like the bottom pieces on the pallet. And the rest of the wood I had cut from the front of the pallet, the other pieces, and turned out they were too short, which was okay. It works out. It's not aesthetically pleasing because they're 2 different sides, but I'm almost totally over my OCD tendencies, or the melancholy personality type. If any of you have heard of Lawrence Lidhauer's Personality Plus. Anyway, off on a tangent there again, but well, I could try to show how this works, but it's dark outside now. But basically, you coil the hose up in that. I'll get a picture of it tomorrow, and then I'll tag it on to the end of the video. And here we have it. I guess for lack of a better term, it's a corral for the hose. And although I said, you know, I've been getting away from my OCD tendencies or whatever because of those, you know, those short ends right there instead of the short pieces on the side. It kind of occurred to me that maybe putting my hose in a hose corral could be deemed being OCD. Hey, just because you're not a slob doesn't mean you're OCD. And it has been kind of messy around here, and I do want to have it look a little bit orderly, nothing wrong with that. But also I'm going to make a little bit of a cover for it, something, because part of the idea of this is to keep the sun off of it. So it's not just trying to make it organized, there's some other madness to my method. Anyway, that's it for now. Do what you can with what you have where you are. God bless y'all. See you next time.